Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're checking out another one of Kotobukiya's Megalomaria series model kits here today. This one is Novice, which has sort of a little bit more maid aesthetic with some knife-like type weapons on there, looking very cool. If you guys have not seen my past reviews on the first couple of kits out in this line, I absolutely love this series. The posability and the construction of these kits is pretty much unparalleled. It's incredible. So I'm really looking forward to checking out the Novice here for today's video. Let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, so as is usual for the line, we've got vertical style box art here on the front with the really nice illustration of the model character right there. Looking really cool. As is kind of usual for this line, not necessarily a very colorful design, but you can see it's got kind of more hair type looking parts there on the head. And as I mentioned, it has these knives as the kind of included weapons with this. So going down here to the ends of the box, just gonna be kind of the same thing there. And around over here on this side, we've got more vertical images here showing the built and painted model kit, what that's gonna look like all posed up in a variety of different poses here. They're kind of holding the different knives. Here's a look at the hard points and options. So obviously hard points and customization is gonna be something that's gonna be highly encouraged with a model like this from this line. And you can see about that triple jointed wrist, really cool feature of the designs from this series. Around here on the other side, we've got a look at what the kit is going to look like there, just showing some more about this beautiful articulation that you have with this. And then the MSRP for this one coming in at 4,800 yen. Then going around here onto the back side, we've got a look at how this is going to look if you mix and match parts with the Sosai Shoujo Teien kits. So you can mix the faces, you can mix the hair parts. It's definitely something you can do with these. And then of course, more showing off some of the range of motion there to doing some really extreme poses. And then a really nice size comparison here to show you how this compares to like Frame Arms Girl, Frame Arms, Hexagear, Sosai Shoujo Teien, Arcanadia, and Megami Device. But all right, let's get this box opened up. We've got a tray of all of our contents inside here. We'll take a look through the runners in just a moment. As I would expect, most of the runners are going to be reused from the other kits in the line, and we just have a small handful of those that are specific to this particular version. But here for our paper materials, we've got the same box art right here on this one. On the back side is going to be a couple of reference images there with the color guide down there at the bottom. And on the inside is our parts list, and these blue sections are going to be parts that are not going to be used for this version, but why not hang on to them just as extra option parts just in case, right? So this other bit of paper here, this is going to be all of our construction instructions. So everything on how to put the kit together here is going to be laid out for us all in black and white there for this, as you can see. And that's pretty much it for that. But let's go ahead and get into the runners then. So we've got some polycaps here on a PC runner in a kind of light blue color. And then similarly, we've got our hand option parts here, an array of weapon holding hands, open expressive hands, and we got all sorts of different hand options. We'll take a closer look at those in the review portion of the video. And the first set of runners here are all just going to be kind of the universal runners for the entirety of this line. Here we've got runners A and B, which are here in a light gray color. Runner C is here in a light blue, and just for a comparison between the two, you can kind of see the color difference there between the two colors. Runner D we have two of, and their parts here in black, but they are actually different. Both are labeled D, but they have different parts on them, so just pay attention to that. Runners E and F are going to be some more parts here in that lighter blue color. And then runner G is going to be a couple more parts here in that light gray. And from there, we're going to be switching over to the parts that are specific for this particular variation. So runner I here is in a kind of light cream, off-white kind of color there. Runner J is some more parts here in black. It has like a nice satin finish black there. It looks really nice. Runner K is a nice kind of desaturated purple color there for like the hair parts. Runners L and M here, L being a couple of ribbon parts there in pink, M being the clear blue parts for the eyes, N being that light gray color here for the face and buttocks parts, and lastly runner O being a few more parts in that purple color for the hair, and that's it. Alright guys, and here is the kit all built up, and one thing that I've talked about a lot with this series is just how much I enjoy these kits for like the build quality and especially the articulation, which is like unlimited on these kits, and it's really, really good. But the other thing that I really like, and it's really well exemplified in this one and some other ones that we'll take a look at in the near future as well, is that each one has a really cool theme to it. While like the base body is going to be the same as kits that we've seen in the past, the new parts and new color scheme do a good job to really give each one kind of its own personality, sort of, just with this one obviously having that sort of maid theme to it. And then each one having like some different weapons included as well, which this one has some pretty cool accessories with those knives on there. But other than that, not necessarily going to have like a ton of accessories. So let's go ahead and start off just by taking a look at those, and then we'll dive into the kit a bit further. And just to start off with our accessories, you do have an option of just a regular wrist joint here, which would just work kind of normally, not the triple jointed wrist. That said, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want to keep the triple jointed wrist. It's really awesome. And here you can also see one of our other option parts. We've got two of these connection bits that you can use here for the hardpoint, which is located on the kind of backside of the triple jointed wrists there. You can also see one of our hand options here, which would be this outstretched expressive hand like that. And on the other side, you can see we've got our kind of open, sort of resting open hand there like that. This could also be used for holding different sort of objects maybe. But we do have a couple of other holding hands here. One for holding like circular objects, like this would be for like a spear handle or something like that if you had it, or like a rectangular piece like a gun handle. We also have another holding hand set for the left and the right side for holding rectangular objects here with the trigger finger extended. Lastly, then just a set of flat open hands here as well. No completely closed fists in this set. I believe we might have that in the hand set, which we'll be taking a look at in the next review. Other than that, if we go around here to the back side, you can see there's no hard point there on that center piece, but you can replace that with this piece right here, which will give us that hard point right there in the center. And then aside from the one set of knives on that one side there, you can see we have a second set. Now you have this optional piece of this connection piece there, that black piece, that'll connect it into the back side of the triple jointed wrist like I have it here. But if you remove that, it's just a standard 3mm hard point, so you could plug that onto like here on the side of the lower leg, something like this as an example. Alternatively, you do have this hidden hard point right here. It's covered up by this cap piece. You can just easily remove that. This one, because it's a little bit deeper inset there, I'm actually not sure if this is going to reach. Well, it does, and actually that works pretty well to keep the knives there on the sides of the leg as well. Also, because you have this convenient gap in sort of the quote-unquote skirt sort of parts here, you have these black armor pieces that one goes around to the front and the other side is kind of covering the back there, sort of like that, and so the knives actually fit pretty well into the side of the leg there. As for the rest of our new parts here for this, these shoulder parts just fit in between kind of the top of the arm and the bicep in kind of normal position. Got this front skirt part here that just makes use of that hard point there at the center. That's just plugged into there very easily. This does have a hinge in it that will allow those parts to move. And then these, same with these like black skirt sections here. These can also move a little bit side to side there like that to get out of the way so that you can extend the leg all the way up like that. As I mentioned, the articulation on these kits is insane, so everything will move very extremely, as we'll see just in a moment when we take a look at the kit in a few different poses. But also about the hair, we have a couple of points of articulation between the main head and then this middle section and this last section here, which does kind of hang a little bit loosely. You could definitely glue that in place if you wanted it to be kind of stuck in more upward position like that, I suppose. And then of course you do have this hard point here at the top of the head as well if you wanted to plug an additional piece into there. Also, the clear blue part for the eyes does look nice, but I wish the face wasn't quite so deep inset kind of behind the hair here. I wish the hair fit a little bit more flush to the face, but the little pink accent parts also, the little pink ribbon parts there also make for a nice little accent, I have to say. So it looks fantastic. Let's go ahead and try out some poses here. And as we do that, I'll once again remind you guys that in lore, these kits are related to the Sosai Shoujo Teian kits and the Hexagear kits. There's kind of like a whole overarching like world built behind kind of the connection between the lines and everything. So it's all really quite interesting. And the ability to mix and match between the Sosai Shoujo Teian kits and these kits in particular are really nice. Not something that I've really tried out all that much, but as we saw there in the instructions and on the box art, it's definitely something that you can do if you're interested. But once again, guys, if you've not tried out this line yet, I would highly recommend it. If, you know, the whole maid aesthetic isn't your thing, there's other options available in the line. If you want to go back to kind of the most basic form of the original principle, or like the penetrator being a more kind of militaristic sort of design, or the seeker being a sort of more, I don't know, sort of like spooky kind of design, there's a lot of options available for you. And if you didn't want the sort of a female female frame design. If you wanted a more kind of male frame, you do have the Mephisto for an example, and there's another one too that also did recently release. So there are kind of like more husbando type of designs if waifu isn't your thing. But I think another great thing about these kits is that they are entirely robots. So for some people that aren't really sort of into the whole like female character sort of model kits, you know, for whatever reason they're just kind of squeamish about it, this gives you an opportunity to build something that still has that form, but it's all robot, so maybe you can feel a bit less self-conscious about it or something maybe. But anyway, let me know your guys' thoughts on this kit, on the line, down in the comment section below. Do you have a favorite out in the line so far? I'm always looking forward to checking out some more, so I've got a few in the queue that I'm going to be building up in the future, so definitely stay tuned. And in the meantime, you can check out the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. We've got all sorts of kits from this line and others. Everything else there from Kotobukiya you can check out there on the website. And as always, guys, thanks so much for all of your support, leaving a like, making sure that you're subscribed as well so you don't miss any future reviews. Until next time, hope you guys are all having a great day. See y'all later. Bye, guys.